At this point, I think it's safe to say that the practice of making a mixtape is a lost art. But are mixtapes ready for a comeback? Isn't that an intriguing thought? Yes, it is. I've had portable cassette players my whole life. Walkmans, we used to call them, even though none of mine were actual Walkman brand Walkmans. Here's an actual photo of me back in the 80s. Note the Walkman on my hip and the headphones that are obviously not on my actual ears. I amassed a pretty big collection of tapes over the years. I got lots secondhand and I subscribed to those cassette club subscription things. And of course, I also made my own tapes. That was the bulk of my collection actually. I'd record music off the radio and I'd borrow tapes from friends to copy them. And I loved making mixtapes. Oh man, that was like my thing. It was like art to me. Making the perfect mixtape. I'd spend all night working on a mixtape, recording re-recorded songs on a double-deck tape recorder, and I even used to record myself with a microphone like an announcer doing segues between songs as if I was putting on my own show. I'd make these mixtapes and then I'd get these big packs of blank tapes and I'd duplicate them and I'd give them out to the kids at school. Sort of like an early version of YouTube if you think about it. Anyways, long story long, I saw my boy Aiden Walls review this, the We Are Rewind tape player. And his video was so freaking good. Actually, I'll link it below because he has an interesting perspective on cassettes. It's actually really cool. And hey, if you watch his video, leave a comment. Let's all say that TechDweeb has bigger muscles than Aiden. That'll be fun. But his video piqued my interest in the idea of getting a tape player. And then when I found out that this thing came in orange, I was sold. But not actually sold because I'm a cheapskate. So instead of buying one, I reached out to the company and I begged for one to review. And they said yes. So the We Are Rewind cassette player is a beautiful piece of technology. It looks amazing and it exists in the kind of spooky middle ground where old meets new. It's a cassette player made with old school internals and an aesthetic that totally captures that retro yet modern vibe. But it has the quality of life features you'd want out of a modern device like a rechargeable battery, which you charge via USB-C. It has Bluetooth, which is super cool. And you can play cassette tapes obviously, but you can also record your own tapes, which means, yeah, that's right, the return of the mixtape is upon us. And you might be wondering why you'd want to listen to a cassette in 2025. And there's some reasons, some not so good reasons, but a few amazingly good ones, which we'll talk about. But first, let's take a look at the actual thing, shall we? It comes in this lovely package, which feels like a design you'd see on a modern retro piece of audio equipment. Which is what this is, so they nailed that. This company's in Paris, by the way. Ooh la la. Inside we get the device itself and some word papers. One of them is a quick start guide and the other is a more different guide. And under there is a USB-C cable for charging. And they included a pencil. And at first I was like, why? Why would they include a pencil? But then I realized it's a nostalgia thing. If you grew up with cassettes, you know exactly what this pencil is for. The company also sells their own blank tapes, and they sent me one of those too. It's a 60-minute tape, and it comes in a jewel case, which I immediately got a crack in, just like the good old days. Oh, the nostalgia. And of course, you have the area inside where you can write your song list for side A and B, and the tape is so freaking retro looking. I love this so much. And I also ordered some more blank tapes on Amazon, and I went for some of the pricier ones, hoping that the quality's better. Also, I couldn't bring myself to listen to this thing on nice, high-quality modern headphones. I actually have these that I got on AliExpress ages ago. They're super crappy, like dollar store quality headphones. But I like the nostalgic feel of them and I wanted some better ones, so I found these. The IKF Y3. They look retro as heck, but they have a braided cable and they sound great. I love the matching headphones and tape player. This just makes me happy. Simple things for a simple dweeb. On the front, we have this lovely circular viewing window to see those juicy insides. And We Are Rewind logo there. On the top, we have some buttons: stop, fast forward, rewind, play, record, and a Bluetooth pairing button, and an LED indicator for Bluetooth and power. On the right, we have a volume wheel and a 3.5mm audio hole for headphones, and another 3.5mm hole for audio input, and a USB-C hole for charging. Nothing on the left, some words underneath, and on the back is a little hole. I don't know what that's for. And I gotta say, I love the look of this thing. It comes in several other colors, all of which are lovely, but this orange version just immediately got my juices flowing. It's got that super geometric, futuristic aesthetic. Like it looks like a real piece of equipment, but with a bit of a retro flair. I love that you can see the guts inside, or the tape spinning, just like back in the day. It's rather heavy, which isn't surprising considering it's an all-metal shell, and it's not huge, but it's substantial sized. Compared to the tight, compact cassette players we had back in the day, this thing is a bit of a chonker. And I read an article that explained why that is. Basically, these companies that make these tape players aren't actually making the internal tape deck component parts. This stuff inside is all mass produced, and it's not super high tech. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of buying a tape player in 2025. The engineering required to design smaller, more efficient components just isn't warranted by the niche nature of this sort of product. That said, it's not massive or anything. I've been carrying this around on my walks, using it to listen to the mixtape that I made, and yeah, it's still pocketable. A bit on the heavy side, but I wear a belt, so it's fine. Speaking of which, the company makes a belt clip that, I mean, I'd wear it, but I'm a weirdo, so I don't know if most people would feel comfortable rocking this in public. I had a section in my script called How It Works, where I was going to explain how it works, but it's a tape player. It works like a tape player. You push play to play the tape, and you can rewind and fast forward and stop the tape. You know, tape player stuff. And you can record with the record button. Whatever audio is coming in through there, it gets recorded on the tape. That's how it works. Oh man, I really don't know what to say here. It's stupid simple. Oh, I guess I should talk about the Bluetooth. There's a Bluetooth button and you hold this to enter pairing mode, but this was actually annoying because there's no display here to pick a Bluetooth device. And I have quite a few Bluetooth devices and wireless speakers and stuff, and I couldn't get this to pair to my headphones because it would just instantly pair to my speakers. So I actually had to turn off all the Bluetooth devices in the place before it would default to the headphones. Once you have it paired, it remembers, so in theory you only need to do this once, but that was kind of annoying, and I wanted to mention it. And the Bluetooth sound it's good. I mean, it's a tape player. You're not here for high quality audio, but it sounds just as good through the Bluetooth headphones as it does through wired headphones. Actually, let's talk about the audio quality because maybe you haven't heard a cassette tape in a long time. I certainly hadn't before I got this, but it was super interesting for me to hear. When it hit my ears, it was like instant nostalgia. Cassettes have this like very quiet, warm, static hum in the background. My amateur way of describing it is that the sound is sort of muffled around the edges. Like it's a little compressed, but with this satisfying analog richness to it. And there's this faint kind of flutter to it that adds a bit of a mushy charm. The weird thought that I had is that it's like a good memory that you're trying to remember through a sock. I wrote that down in my notes. I don't know what it means, but reading it now, yeah, that feels about right. I don't want to leave you in the dark, so here's what I'm gonna do. The first mixtape I made on here was all 80s and 90s songs, but I can't show you what Cruel Summer by Bananarama sounds like because YouTube is too strict. But video game music seems more safe, so I captured some gameplay music digitally, and then I recorded it onto this thing, and now I'll show you both the original versus the tape player. You're gonna want to turn up your headphones here so you can really hear the difference. Don't worry, I won't blast you in the eardrums. And yeah, there you go. That's the best I can do for you. That should give you a decent enough idea of what tapes sound like, at least my homemade recorded tapes. However, listening to it now, it's not quite the same. I can hear my recording, and there's something about that analog sound that you're missing when you hear a digital recording of it. Audio guys always say that sort of thing, and I get it now. but it should give you at least a rough idea if this is something that you want in your life. Now, is the We Are Rewind good for a tape player? I have no idea. I literally only have this one tape player, and I don't have any actual tapes like albums. I've just been making mixtapes that I'm recording myself. But that was enough for me back in the day, and it's enough for me now. And speaking of mixtapes, can I just say how much freaking fun I had making mixtapes on this thing? This is like the first time in, I don't know, 25 years or whatever that I made a mixtape. Mixtapes were a huge part of my life back when I was a kid and a teenager, and making them now, I just had this big, dumb, goofy smile on my face the whole time. It's easy as heck to do too. You just literally play music from any device with a headphone jack. You plug in an audio cable and you hit record on the tape deck and it records. You can't hear audio from the device while you're recording, so I got this headphone splitter so I could listen along with my recording. My first mixtape I made on here was so cheesy. Oh, I love it so much. Here's the track list I did for that tape. And I listened to that tape over and over the first week I had this, just like I would back in the day. Listening to this while I went on my walks or doing chores. Oh man, that alone brought me back. But check this out. As I was getting ready for this video, recording that video game music, I actually had my microphone plugged in and I started doing some like announcer segues and stuff just like I did back in the day, just for fun. But I was having so much fun that I think I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna make a mixtape of just retro game music and I'm gonna do the radio host thing for it. And when it's done, I'm gonna upload it right here. I don't think it's going to be ready by the time this video launches because I have another important video I need to make quickly, but it won't be far off. If it's not ready right away, I'll get it done as soon as I can. And I'm also going to re-record the audio output from the We Are Rewind, so it'll sound like an audio cassette when you listen to it. So check the pinned comments below, and when it's done, you're going to be able to see it down there, and you can check it out when it's ready. And I just thought of this. How's about I will upload an MP3 of the original so you can record it on your own cassette tape, and then you can have your own TechDweeb mixtape, if you have a tape player, of course, and like listening to tapes in 2025. Which I suppose is a good segue to the inevitable question. Why do this? Why get a tape player and make tapes of songs that you can easily get on YouTube or your phone and not have to deal with listening to them in the same order and have to fast forward and rewind the tape? And of course, the quality. They sound like tapes. You can hear the perfect high quality versions on your smart devices. So why do the dumb device way that is objectively worse? And my answer to that is because shut up. That's why. I want to. It's not about the convenience for me. It's not about the quality of life features. It's not about the actual quality. It's about the feeling I get when I do things the old way. I mean, I made some videos recently about how I play DOS games, and I load the games up via the command line. I have these games on Steam and GOG, and I can play them by clicking a button without doing it the old school way. I'm making it harder for myself, and that's the point. It's those restrictions that make it feel more real. It makes the nostalgia work better. It calms me and it forces me to take a step back and appreciate the content for what it is, rather than the convenience. Making mixtapes the way I used to back in the day. Going through that instead of just tapping a button. It invests me in the process and it makes me appreciate the music more. And the fact that these old ways of doing things are still alive and well is what makes me love stuff like this. It's the reason that I load my DOS games via a command prompt. It's the same reason I sit at this computer when I write. It's the same reason I play retro games. It can do more than just remind you of a simpler time. It can make this time right now simpler. And I think we could all benefit from a little bit more of that, is what I'm saying.